Hello everyone, my name is Hannah. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to day 2 of Bookmas. So today I'm going to be talking about all of my most anticipated releases of next year, and there are a lot of them. So first, let's talk about the books that have a set release date, even though it could change. And I know in the past I've done this video before, and then the date of one of my most anticipated releases has changed, but that's okay. This is what I have right now as of today, and I'm going to be going in order of how or when they'll be released next year. So starting off the year on a great foot is Where the Drowned Girls Go by Shauna Maguire. This is coming out January 4th, so basically right away, right at the start of the year. And this is book 7? Yes, book 7 in the Wayward Children's series, which is one of my favorite series of all time. I have read and loved all of the other Wayward Children's series books except for Across the Green Grass Fields, which was the last year's release, which I liked, but it wasn't a favorite. But all of the other books I've given 5 stars to, so I have high hopes for this one, especially because of the title. Because we meet a drowned girl in one of the previous books, and I'm just really curious to learn more about her world. If you don't know, the Wayward Children series is very short novella-style books. They're less than 200 pages, each of them, and they basically talk about these other worlds that children get doorways to, kind of like Narnia or Alice in Wonderland. And these worlds like best fit them, whatever that may mean. And there's tons and tons of different worlds. There's kind of like a horror movie style world that we see in Down Among the Sticks and Bones. In Beneath the Sugar Sky, it's Confection, which is a candy world where literally everything is made of candy. And there's just like, it's really cool to see Shauna Maguire like bring these worlds to life and give them rules or non-rules really. So yeah, I'm just really, really excited for this next book to come out. Shauna Maguire has said in the past that she will keep releasing books in this series as long as her publisher keeps buying them. And you know what? I will be reading them until the end of time if that is what it takes, because I love these books so much. So yes, definitely a highly anticipated book of 2022. The next book on my list here is Count Your Lucky Stars by Alexandria Bellafleur, which is coming out February 1st. And this is book 3 in the Written in the Stars trilogy. It's a romance trilogy, and I read the first 2 books back to back this year, and I loved them both. The first one is Written in the Stars, the second one is Hang the Moon, and that one was my favorite. So I was highly, highly anticipating Count Your Lucky Stars. Now, I am starting to get into less of a romance reading mood and more back into a fantasy reading mood. So I don't know how that will affect, like, if I'll be in the mood to pick that one up right away when it's released, or if I'll want to save it for when I'm in the mood to read romance so that I can really, really enjoy it. I guess we'll just have to see when it gets released, but yeah, I definitely want to read that one because I love the first 2 so, so much. It is a sapphic romance, and we kind of meet one of the main characters, Margot, I think her name is, in the first 2 books, so I'm really excited to read more about her character and watch her love story. The next book on my list is quite possibly my most anticipated release of 2022, and that is House of Sky and Breath by Sarah J. Maas, which is book 2 in the Crescent City series, and that comes out on February 15th. So the Crescent City series is like a adult urban fantasy style book. It's not kind of just like regular high fantasy. I think there's still like cell phones and cars and stuff like that in this world, which it was really interesting in the first book. And it's been a hot second since I've read House of Earth and Blood. Right, I just always call it Crescent City. But I'm definitely going to do a reread of that book before the second one comes out so that the story is really fresh in my head. And this will be one that I will probably do a full spoilery reading log for. So it's definitely my most anticipated release of 2022. Then another romance book is Hook, Line, and Sinker by Tessa Bailey. This is book 2 in the It Happened One Summer series, duology. And that comes out on March 1st. So the first book, It Happened One Summer, follows Piper, and it's like a Schitt's Creek inspired romance. And I absolutely loved that one. I gave it 5 stars, and I I just loved it so much. But this second book follows Piper's younger sister, Hannah, and we kind of, in the first book, get to see the two characters that are the main characters in the second book, and I shipped them from the first book before I even knew the second book was going to be a thing, and I'm so happy that it is a thing because I really, really want to watch this romance play out, or read this romance to play out. I don't know how I should say it. Watch it in my head as I read it. Yeah, this is another one where, like I said, I'm not in a super romance reading mood right now, so depending on how I feel when the book comes out, I might save it for when I'm in more of a romance reading mood. But either way, I am highly, highly anticipating this one because I loved the first book so much. So definitely excited to read Hannah's story. All right, this next one is a close second for my most anticipated release of 2022 because I am so excited to read this book. And that is The War of Two Queens by Jennifer L. Armentrout, which is book 4 in the Blood and Ash series. This comes out March 15th, and I read and absolutely loved the Blood and Ash series in 2021. I mean, I read From Blood and Ash, I think in 2020. And then I read the second and the third book at the very, very beginning of 2021. And they are so good. They're so like quick to read. And I just want to know where the story's going to go from here. I read the prequel series, the first book in the prequel series, and I just need to know what's going to happen. I am very, very highly anticipating this book. I cannot wait for it to come out. It's going to be amazing. I'm so excited. The next book on my list here is Falls Boys by Penelope Douglas. It comes out on March 21st. This is a spin-off series following the children of the couples in the Fall Away series, which the first book is Bully. And I read all of the books in the Bully series, all of the novellas, and we meet some of the children of those couples in the novellas, like later in the series, and I'm just really eager to see what their stories are going to be, and I think it's going to be a really fun time. So the first book in that spin-off series, I think it's called Hellbent, that comes out in March, so I'll definitely be picking that one up. I think hopefully by then I will have read everything that Penelope Douglas has published. At this point, I only have one novel left that she's published that I have not read. So maybe I'll have time to pick it up in December so that I can just like pick up all of her books as they get published. All right, next up, there are 3 books that are coming out on the exact same day, and they're pretty different. They're very different books, but they're all coming out on May 3rd. So the first one that I'm highly anticipating is Seasonal Fears by Shauna McGuire, which is the second book in the Middle Game series. And I adored Middle Game. I definitely want to do a reread of that before I read Seasonal Fears, but I just remember finishing Middle Game and just needing the next book, and so this will be one that I read like right when it's released. Like I won't even hesitate. I'll stop whatever I'm doing to read that book because I am so eager to know where the story is going to go. So eager. And Shauna McGuire is one of my favorite authors, so I just want to know what's going to happen. The next one coming out on May 3rd is Book Lovers by Emily Henry, and this is another adult romance. I think it's adult. It's adult. I read Beach Read by Emily Henry, which was a 5 out of 5 stars, and then in 2021, I read People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry, which was another 5 out of 5 stars. It was one of my favorite romances of the year and one of my favorite books of the year. Spoiler alert, that'll be on my favorites list. But yeah, I am very, very excited to pick up her next adult romance book because if it's anything like her other 2, I know I'm gonna love it. And it's called Book Lovers. Like, come on. It's gonna be amazing. And then the third book that's coming out on May 3rd is Book of Night by Holly Black. This is Holly Black's adult debut. I think it's gonna be witchy, fantasy-y. I don't know, and I don't care. I'm gonna read it when it comes out. Then the next book on my highly anticipated releases list is The House Across the Lake by Riley Sager. This comes out June 28th. It is Riley Sager's 5th book? No, 6th book. I've read his other 5 books and I've loved every single one of them. They are just like a good, fun time. Even books that other people have mostly hated, I've really enjoyed them. So I'm just really excited to read his new thriller because I've loved all 5 of his other books. So I'll definitely be picking that one up when it comes out. The next book on my list is Bloodmarked by Tracy Deonn. This is book 2 in the Legendborn series, and it comes out July 26th, and I read and loved Legendborn. I picked it as a book of the month pick, like for my monthly pick, and it was so good. I have been kind of steering away from YA books lately. I just find that when I read them, they don't give me what I'm looking for in a book at this point in my life, so I mostly just want to read adult. But Legendborn was such a fun ride, and I'm so excited to read the second book because I really want to know what's going to happen. I mean, the first book ended on a bit of a cliffhanger, so I'm really looking forward to the second book, and it should be a really good time. The next book on my list is Wild is the Witch by Rachel Griffin. This comes out August 2nd. This is the author of The Nature of Witches, which I read this year, and I really, really liked it. It was very atmospheric, very witchy. It was a YA one, but it was a YA that I really loved, even though I just said I was trying to steer away from YA books. You know, this isn't one of those cases. This is one of those cases where I'm going to make the exception. And you guys know that I love witchy books, and I really liked how Rachel Griffin wrote about witches and about nature and climate change and all that. So hopefully it delivers those same things that The Nature of Witches did. But yeah, I'm definitely anticipating this second book from this author. The next book on my list is Love on the Brain by Allie Hazelwood. This comes out August 23rd. And this is the author of The Love Hypothesis, which I absolutely adored, and I want to read more from this author, so I added it to my want to read list on Goodreads, and I am highly anticipating this romance release. Hopefully I'll be in a romance mood when it comes out, like all of these other romance books that I'm very excited to get to, because I don't want the fact that I'm in a fantasy mood to taint my reading experience of these romance books. So maybe I'll save them for when I'm in a romance mood. Maybe when they come out, I'll be in a romance reading mood. We'll see, but I am highly anticipating more from this author. So that book is on my list. Now I have 4 books here that have no set release date, but like tentatively coming out in 2022. This could change. They could select a date and be specific about it. As of right now, it's just kind of up in the air. Like, it may come out next year, it may not, but they're gonna be on my list because they might come out, and I'm gonna go ahead and manifest that they are all gonna come out so I can read them. The first one is ACOTAR number 5, the book after A Court of Silver Flames. First of all, I want to know who it's going to be about. And yeah, that is one where I will, you know, cry throughout the entire reading journey of it. And if it does get a release date, that will, for sure, bump itself up to the top of my list as my number 1 most anticipated release of 2022. But as of right now, it has no set release date. I'm just really, really hoping that it'll come out, like maybe in the fall. I don't know. I just want it. The next one without a set release date is Kingdom of the Wicked, book number 3. You all know, at least I think you may know, that I read Kingdom of the Cursed, and I freaked out about it in a vlog for like a solid 6 minutes, and it was amazing. So of course, as soon as I finished it, I, you know, cried about the fact that I didn't have the 3rd book immediately. So I'm really, really hoping that it comes out in 2022 because I want it so bad. The same goes for Flesh and Fire number 2, which is the prequel series to the Blood and Ash series. The first book in the Flesh and Fire series is A Shadow in the Ember, and I loved that one, and I just really need more. Like, I just need more, and I know we're getting a War of Queens, a War of Two Queens, but I really want the second Flesh and Fire book too. I just want all the Jennifer L. Armentrout things. And then, of course, another highly anticipated release that is set to come out in 2022 but has no set date yet is Heartstopper Volume 5. I really want it. I'm pretty sure that Volume 5 is the last volume that Alice Oseman is coming out with. I think that's what they said, but I need it. It is one of the cutest, most wholesome graphic novel series that I've ever read. I don't know why I said one of, because it is definitely the number 1 most cutest, most wholesome graphic novel series that I've ever read. It's adorable, and I want more Nick and Charlie, and I want to see more from them. So I really hope that that one comes out next year. So yeah, that is my list of all of the books that I am highly, highly anticipating that are coming out in 2022. Let me know in the comments if you have any similar to me, or if you didn't even know some of these were coming out in 2022 and now you're highly anticipating them. But yeah, these are books that I would like cry to get my hands on because I want them so badly. So thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to stay tuned for more Bookmas videos. Like I said in my first Bookmas video, I will be coming out with a video every other day leading up until Christmas. So make sure you subscribe so you don't miss anything. And I will see you all in my next video. Bye!